Chris Paul is a Golden State Warrior. I know that sounded surreal, so I'll say it one more time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Paul will be joining Golden State in a bombshell of a trade. The Golden State Warriors and Washington Wizards landed on a deal that will see Chris Paul join the Bay Area really, really soon, as Washington receives Jordan Poole, a 2030 first-round pick, and a 2027 second-round pick. Pretty much this is an extension of the Phoenix Suns and Washington Wizards trade that incorporated Bradley Beal. But just for clarity, this is a second trade. Obviously, Washington acquired Chris Paul with the idea that he was never going to play a game for their organization, but what he would be used to get more assets as the Wizards completely go in full rebuild mode. I want to start here with Jordan Poole quickly, then I want to talk about what everybody's talking about, just what the heck Chris Paul brings to Golden State, because I think this is an absolutely phenomenal trade for the Warriors. But first things first, Jordan Poole about to start a $140 million extension that he got with the Warriors last offseason. Let's keep in mind that extension never started with the Warriors. It's just about to get started right now. He's gone before it ever gets started. Obviously, he had a tumultuous last year. He did not play his best basketball. He had a couple of spurts, couple of stints when Steph was out of the lineup where he looked like the Jordan Poole that got said extension. But let's call a spade a spade. That Jordan Poole Golden State Warriors 2022-23 season got off to the rockiest of starts when during training camp, Draymond Green punched him and Jordan Poole fell. The video got leaked out. TMZ got their hands on it. That season was doomed from the beginning. Jordan never looked like the guy that Golden State gave that extension to. And Draymond even admitted many times over that he believes him punching Jordan really diminished his leadership role within that Warriors locker room. They had to make a trade. They obviously want to keep Draymond, apparently, alongside Klay Thompson, who has an extension coming down the pipeline. They move off of Jordan and get a little more clarity about their future. What we said on this platform had been simple. Golden State was trying to do two things at one time. They were trying to build for the future, and they were also trying to go forward in the present. And unfortunately, last year exposed that. They just simply couldn't do both. You obviously seen them trade James Wiseman at the deadline, and now moving off Jordan Poole just lets you know this team is going older. Let's win now. This is probably a 2-year window for this Warriors team that's going to likely re-sign Draymond despite him opting out. Obviously, they just picked Draymond over Jordan, and obviously they're probably going to pay Klay down the pipeline. They still got to work out some figures there. But for Jordan, it gives him a fresh start. He'll be able to score as much as he wants, take as many shots as he wants, and more times than not, he ain't got to worry about nobody punching him in the face. He is now a Washington Wizard. And for the Warriors perspective, which is where I really want to go with this one, I think Chris Paul is a home run get. It's one of my favorite trades this decade. Look, the Washington Wizards are a dumpster fire. As a matter of fact, I'm calling them the new worst team in the NBA from an organizational standpoint. They are poorly ran. And the way that they've handled this entire Bradley Beal situation, we're going to talk about Kristaps Porzingis in another video. They traded him. To me, it just shows you how bad this franchise was ran. The moment they gave Bradley Beal that no trade clause, they were doomed. And now they're in a dumpster fire sale where they're getting pennies on a dollar. I mean, look around. The Grizzlies just gave up 2 first-round picks to get Marcus Smart, and the Wizards got no first-round picks for Bradley Beal. Again, there's some swaps, but if the Suns are good for the next 5 to 7 years, that's a dud, right? That's a dud. So I'm just saying Washington is a dumpster fire, and the Golden State Warriors ducked them. They didn't want to pay Jordan Poole. We don't even know how good of a talent Jordan Poole really is because he's been alongside Hall of Famers left and right. You get to see what he is as a player. The Warriors bring in a guy that I think is going to fit in seamlessly. I see a lot of people out there concerned about what Chris Paul still has left in the tank around the age of 38. I don't think it really matters. At the end of the day, Chris Paul only has 1 year left on his deal. There's no long-term money tied up to CP3. The Warriors can get off of that contract next year. This is the last guaranteed year for CP3. The Warriors are in a go for it now mode. You can bring Chris Paul off the bench and let him cook with that second unit. He's always been great with young guys. I bet if you ask the Warriors right now, they might be kind of, killing himself in the foot here, shooting himself in the foot here, trading James Wiseman, because Chris is the type of guy that you would like to have around James. But if you talk about a guy like Chris, he could easily get Kevon Looney 12 points a game. He can easily get, Andrew Wiggins some easier looks. And I expect Wiggins to be back healthier than ever, much more focused, has some personal stuff going on in his life. Chris Paul is going to be the perfect guy with this second unit. I mean, he's a better Draymond Green from a playmaker IQ perspective. Obviously not a defender. The Warriors are going to probably do a good job this offseason addressing their defense as well. Chris is also a guy late in games. You can bring him in and put Steph on it too. One of the great things about Curry is he's one of the greatest off-the-ball players we've ever seen. And another reason why I love this move, just in case the Warriors are unable to work out a deal for Draymond Green, which I do doubt. I just want to throw this out there. They now have a playmaker that is capable of dedicating his life to getting Klay and Steph open look after open look after open look. Chris will dedicate his whole game to that. One of the greatest things about Chris is he is one of the greatest alterers, depending on where he's at. We've seen this dude alter his game for Harden. We've seen him alter his game for Booker. Two completely different scores, by the way. Chris will alter his game. The reality of Chris Paul is he looked in the mirror, and I do believe the Wizards, for whatever reason, allowed Chris to get to Golden State. There have been rumors out there that the Warriors wanted CP3, and CP3 wanted to be in the Bay Area. I do believe the Wizards helped facilitate this trade for some odd reason, showing support to Chris Paul. I don't know what the connection is. He never played a game there. But for Chris Paul, he looked in the mirror and said, I'm a sixth man right now. Kawhi Leonard probably should do the same thing. Chris said, you know what? I'm a sixth man, and I got to accept that. When it comes down to the playoffs, I can easily be a starter, but the way I'm playing right now, I'll never make it to the playoffs, and see just how can I be. Steph Curry gets hurt at least once a year. You can bring Chris Paul in to now facilitate that offense, and you won't lose a beat. The Warriors can win games while Steph is out. Klay Thompson gets hurt at least once a year. He didn't last year, but at least once a year, and he's obviously had some major injuries. In the event that he does get hurt next season, a Steph and Chris Paul backcourt is not going to lock down anybody defensively, but offensively, they won't lose a beat. Chris can still score. There is so many different elements to this trade. Chris can work himself into playoff mode. He doesn't have to be the starter for the Warriors. We'll see how they conduct this lineup. It's such a great trade for Golden State on so many different levels. Look, this is what Mike Dunleavy Sr.'s first move as running, as the general manager there. And I thought he did a phenomenal job at getting this Warriors team some much needed change. They've got older. This is a 2-year window. Be clear about it. No long-term money tied to Chris Paul. If it works out great, him and his family probably will take a lot lesser of a deal next time around. You get off Jordan Poole, which clearly you made the decision to go Dre over Jordan. I'm not saying I agree with that decision. I'm just saying clearly the Warriors as a franchise made the decision to go Dre over Jordan. And since they made that move, they had to move off of Jordan Poole. And now Chris Paul will be running the show with that second unit, or maybe even a starter, depending on what way the Warriors decide to go with their lineup. And they give themselves a little bit of reflux, or a little bit of luxury room, just in case the Draymond situation doesn't work out. Draymond's going to want to play with CP3. He'll probably take a little less on the dollar now, knowing that Chris Paul will be there to help run the show. Steph, probably one of the greatest ever off the ball. I love this trade for the Warriors. I think it was a home run get. The Wizards are the worst ran franchise in the NBA right now. Big time trade out of the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. I'm out. Welcome to NBA offseason 2023. You're in great hands with Hoops FERRO. There's no network behind me. There's no budget behind me. Just straight grind and hoops talk. If you don't want to miss a beat this offseason from trades, free agent signings, and draft talk, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let's run these numbers up. It's free $99 to show me that you support the grind. Let's go.